Gravestones. Greetings everyone and welcome to the first episode of Painting Cursed City. The game's been out for a while and I decided to finally start painting the models to avoid playing with bare plastic. For the bases, I've started by raiding my bits box in search for something that would feed the theme nicely. On the first grave I've added a simple skull to make the base more interesting, and for the second one I found a grasping hand I can use to give the feeling of something rising from the ground. I've glued these on using plastic glue to the front of the tombstone, since this is the place where we want to focus the viewer's attention. Once the glue has settled and dried, give it a warm handshake before moving on to some earth textures. Next up, I use AGRELLAN BADLAND to cover the bases for a general dry, earthy texture, but you can use any texture paint you like. It's not a big deal if you get some paint on the model itself, since these graves are supposed to rise from the ground. It would make sense that they would be a bit dirty. Once dried, this paint leaves a really nice cracked, dusty earth look. On to priming. I start by priming the models with Chaos Black, followed by a zenithal highlight using SYGORAX White. This will give us a great base for laying our colors on the model. I start by coating the flowers and candles with Blood Angel's Red contrast paint. This will give us a great deep red, and it's really easy to apply on the model. Since Ulfenkarn is in the realm of death, a quick Google search later reveals this to be a dark wasteland, and I want my colors on the models and bases to reflect that. Next, I use Skeleton Horde on the branches. Next, I'm picking up 3 oil colors, dark blue, dark green and black, and I'm going to use those to create an oil wash to stain several parts of the miniature for a really nice effect. Now, I'm mixing dark blue with a bit of black and a few drops of AK Interactive's White Spirits to reach the desired consistency. I applied this all over the gravestone. As soon as I'm done, I pick up a cotton bud and start removing the excess paint so only the recesses are stained with the dark blue. I do the same with the dark green, applying it on one of the branches to add variety, and a small patch of grass on the back of the Gravestones, and of course the grasping hand. While this dries up, I pick up Zandri dust to base our little friend. After a quick coat of Zandri dust, I carefully pick out the raised edges with Screaming Skull. Before giving up and applying it all over his face. After a wash of SERAPHIM SEPIA, the skull is done. Next, I apply a quick coat of SKAVENBLIGHT DINGE on the sleeve of the rising zombie, and we're going to leave him be until the end. For the hand, I coat it with ELYSIAN green, without trying to be gentle. He's supposed to look rough after all. Then I take SKARSNIK green to fill in some of the areas where ELYSIAN green is not visible, to create a blend and a bit of a highlight. Back to the gravestone. I pick up Dark Reaper and dry brush it lightly all over the stone. Next, for some details, I take SYCORAX bronze to lightly dry brush on top of the Dark Reaper for a small shine. And don't forget to paint the bells as well. While this is drying, I highlight the roses and candles with Evil Sunz Scarlet to give them a bit more color. For the branches, I used BANEBLADE brown to highlight only the raised edges, leaving the darker colors in the cracks and crevices of the model. add a drop of ABADDON black to the candle wicks, since those always darken after you burn them. Next up, I use NIHILAKH oxide on the gravestones and bells to give them a weathered oxidized effect. Once it dries, I follow up with another dry brush of SYCORAX bronze to bring back some of the color and life in the model. Now for the bases, I apply the same dark blue oil wash we used for the gravestones and cover all over the ground. You can stop at this point if you like the blue colors on the base as they are. I'm going to use CARROBURG Crimson to add a bit more color to the ground and the grasping hand. Sadly, I managed to chip some of the earth texture on the side of the Mini, but no worries, I'm taking some blood for the blood god to fill those areas and give the impression of pools of blood. And this should do it for these models. Next up, we'll continue with the mysterious objects, so stay tuned and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Thanks for watching and see you next time.